Hello and welcome. My name is Zafar Iqbal, and you're watching the Mojo Story. Pakistan's former Prime Minister Imran Khan's party, Tehreek-e-Insaf, has really won 15 seats in the by-elections, won 20 seats in Punjab. It has routed PML-N, which is led by Nawaz Sharif, of course. Those constituencies had got vacated after disqualification of members who had voted for Hamza Shehbaz for the position of Punjab Chief Minister. Now, PTI has won most of the seats from central Punjab. To get a sense of the situation on the ground, we will, of course, be joined by guests from Pakistan and also from India. But it's important to note uh, that the victory comes months after Imran Khan's government was toppled in a vote of no confidence and Shehbaz Sharif became the Prime Minister of Pakistan. Imran Khan has been peddling the narrative ever since that he was toppled as a result of a foreign conspiracy with the help of local collaborators. He's hit out the opposition at that point in time, and now the ruling dispensation, the election commission, as well as the establishment were joined from Pakistan by Asad Abbas, who is a political commentator and a legal expert, and we're also joined by Major General Dhruv Katoch. To you first, Asad Abbas, of course, uh, it's a major comeback from Imran Khan since the time his government was toppled in a vote of no confidence. And it's also a win for his narrative that he has been peddling ever since. Can you hear Asad
Hello,
Saab?
can you hear me now?
Yes, yes, we can hear you. Please go ahead.
Yes, Zafar, I can.
Yes, yes, we
Yeah,
can hear you. Please. Okay.
okay. As far as I understand your question, you were asking about that it's a major comeback by the PTI government or Imran Khan, team. Yes, of course, it is a major comeback, and since he was removed from his position by vote of no confidence, there was a feeling in the public at large that he should have continued instead of removing. So that's why people are coming back with more rigor, with more enthusiasm to cast a vote in favor of the PTI, because the narrative which the PTI or Imran Khan took at the time of his removal has become so famous that it was the statement by the PTI or other leaders of the PTI that they have been removed by the conspiracy of America. So that slogan is getting some fame, and people are actually trying to understand that why they are not an independent nation. And it's not only the victory of the PTI, but I believe that it's a victory of the democracy as well, because by the force of vote and by the force of campaign, people are bringing their own people at helm. So it's a victory on both sides at the part of PTI as well as in the favor of the people of Pakistan as well.
Right. It's a victory of democracy. Of course, elections were conducted, though it's a different matter that Imran Khan was hitting out at the election commission, as was saying that election commission is not impartial, it's taking sides. But despite that, he has won, his party has won 15 out of 20 seats. But Major General Dhruv Katoch, when Imran Khan was in power, when he was the prime minister, would you hear this term hybrid regime, that he was very much in clear contact with the establishment and they were on the same page. But since he was toppled, he has been hitting out at the establishment as well. He has been, uh, rather taunting them by calling them neutrals, though they say that they are neutral. But Imran Khan has been mentioning about Mr. X and Mr. Y, of course, indirectly, hinting out that the establishment is not favoring him. So, do you think that this is sort of a major boost for the democracy as such, because people have voted for Imran Khan at a time when he gives an impression that establishment is not with him, election commission is not fair, all the parties of the country have come together and they've ganged up against him. What's the sense that you make?
Thank you. No, you see, I think it is too early to call it a victory for democracy. Yes, the people of Punjab have voted, and he's won 15 out of the 20 seats, which is a very clear majority. And
Yes,
what will happen with this is that he forms the government. He will form the government in Punjab. Now,
right.
having said that, you see, ultimately the victory for democracy will come as and when the national elections are held. This was a by election, and I have a feeling that for a change, this was conducted fairly. Now, what
Hmm.
happens when the national elections are held? Will they be conducted fairly and will they reflect the will of the people? Now, that I think is a $1 million question, and we'll have to wait and see what happens. But ultimately, regardless of whichever way the election goes, I think the problems for Pakistan are not going to decrease. They are going to increase only. The political turmoil which this has set in, either way, if Imran Khan had lost, there would have been political turmoil. He's won, there will still be political turmoil. And I think that is the way of the polity. Ultimately, the test will be when the national elections are held. And this is one thing where I support Imran Khan. I think they should be held, in my view, the fastest possible. That is the only way to resolve any of the pending issues. But my fear is that when the national elections are held, I would really be doubtful about their veracity. There, I think the military will be interfering in the elections as they have already done. This in this particular election they didn't interfere. I think they presumed that the ruling party will win. They didn't expect Imran Khan to win, and he's won it hands down, which shows that he has got public support, and that of course also spells very great concern for the military, because if there is a leader with public support, then obviously the army is not very comfortable with that level of support. Zafar.
Asad Abbas, will the same thing be reflected or replicated in the national elections when they are held? You know, it was an election where the ruling party, Maryam Nawaz, had also accepted the defeat. Obviously, Imran Khan would accept the victory. So it was sort of everybody accepted the verdict, which does not happen very often in Pakistan. We know that. But will the same be replicated in the general election as and when they happen?
Zafar, I just want to respond one or two things which you just mentioned. Look, when you are campaigning for your election, whether it's a by-election or the main election, that you always criticize your opponent. You always criticize all the stakeholders who are involved with that. It's a part of politics. It happens in India, in Pakistan, in Bangladesh, in all the developing countries. So it's not a new phenomena when Imran was saying that election commission is, it's partial. It's not. It's taking side of the other party. But look at the things which unfolded in the event. When there was a moment for no confidence, the court was saying that let it be done as it has been laid down in the constitution, let it be done as it has been laid down in the law. So eventually it did. So when there was a other parties when they were saying that people when other institution also support it. So now as a national of Pakistan, or as a independent analyst or a legal expert, I believe that things are going to be better. So now your main question that it's going to be repeat in the main election as well. So it will depend, but as of now I can say that institutions are performing very well. Lahore High Court, gave wonderful judgment in favor of both the parties. Whoever was right, whoever was in accordance with the law and the constitution, the Lahore High Court said the same way. Similar is the case in the Supreme Court. So now, I believe that in the main elections, the institution have grown up so much. They will, perform or act in accordance with the law and the constitution of Pakistan. But I can't say that the PTI is going to win the next time, again or not. So it will be dependent on the campaign. And in politics, you cannot be sure for the victory of anyone. You can only say that the thing will take place in accordance with the law. Yeah.
But of course, a major setback for Nawaz Sharif and his party. Do you think that Punjab was the bastion of PMLN? Now, things will also change in Sindh, which has been ruled by the Pakistani People's Party for a long time. There also Imran Khan would be able to make inroads, and in both cases, the traditional parties led by Nawaz Sharif and Zardari will their space will shrink even more.
Question to me.
Yes,
Yes, you know, people are thinking in a different way as they used to think for the conventional parties. Imran Khan, playing with the good cards. It's taking everything in his slogan, which is for most. As per the wishes of the people. Even though there are some points in which you can criticize that he had failed to perform, but at the same time, people actually want to give a chance to the new party and to the Imran Khan and PTI. So, in this sense, you're right that space for the conventional parties, PLMN or PPP is going to be shrink for the while. I think you're right.
right. But Major General Dhruv Katoch, do you think also in a sense that uh, it has come at the right time for the establishment? They were under a lot of criticism for what happened at the time of vote of no confidence, and ever since, there was a backlash from the Pakistani society. But they sort of it has helped them to salvage their image to an extent that they have been claiming that they are neutral, and by Imran Khan winning these elections, they would say that we was always saying that we are neutral, we really didn't interfere, and it has in fact been, this entire exercise will, of course, at the end of the day, it has helped Imran Khan to win Punjab. It's also helping establishment to build their reputation, to change that image that had that was there in the last few months.
Well, let's face it, this has been a fair election. And I think if the institutions are coming up, as said by my colleague here, yes, the Election Commission has done a commendable job, and I see no reason why they shouldn't. Everybody is not going to get cowed down by the military. So, the elections were held, and there's no reason really to disregard that result. So, the popular mandate is very clearly in favor of Mr. Imran Khan. I think there is no doubt in that. Now, the military's credibility. Now, really, I think there is an element of distrust within the Pakistani society of the capacity and capability of the military to interfere in politics. So, I mean, that I think within every Pakistani, they know that ultimately the power lies with the establishment, with the military. Now, will they actually back off? Now, I have got very serious reservations, because for the Pakistan polity, for the military, it really doesn't matter who's in power, whether Imran Khan comes into power or the Sharifs or somebody else. They want their interests to be preserved, and so long as the Prime Minister is ready to preserve those interests, I think they will be friendly with each other. So we saw Imran Khan also having a very good rapport with the military. And when he fell out of favor, of course, there were problems. Now, why he fell out of favor, there could be many theories. I personally am not convinced about the conspiracy theory. We give too much credit to America and to others that they can actually generate such sort of a backlash within a country. No, they don't have that power. There is a natural thing which happens within a country. When things go wrong, the people do rise up, and I think that rising up took place in Pakistan. Things have not been going well economically, And uh, when things don't go well economically, then the people will object. So that was what we were seeing on the ground. There is joblessness. There is this thing. We've had 2 years of COVID, and then now we've got a war in Ukraine. So, and as far as the world is concerned, things are not going well. And Pakistan's economy was not such a strong economy that it could have taken all the shocks. So things had to degenerate. So as far as the people are concerned, I think I would discount the conspiracy theory. Though for Imran Khan to peddle it, it is a very good election plank, and the people believe him. That is more important. So when we look at the common Pakistani, he is quite convinced that there's a conspiracy behind it, because otherwise Pakistan would do well. I think a time will come very shortly, within a year or 2 years or 3 years, when the Pakistani public will start holding their leaders to account without going into any conspiracy theories. Ultimately,
Right.
it is your own political leadership which will determine which way you go. And I think that stage, with this victory, I think the most important thing of this victory is you are getting the people are getting alternatives. And so long as people have alternatives, that is the time when the political parties also, whoever the leader is, they tend to be more careful. And when they find that they can get away with cold-blooded murder, well, they will do whatever they can to lie, steal, and cheat. All political parties across the spectrum, across the world. So there has to be some sort of a deterrence or something. And I think this sort of a polity where people have a choice is the best deterrent to the political parties to shape up, or they will be shipped out. Zafar.
Right. Asatab, I was just wondering what will be the strategy of Shehbaz Sharif and the ruling dispensation at this point in time? If they cling on to the power, they lose credibility over time. If they go for fresh elections, dissolve the assembly, the writing is on the wall. It's a catch 22 situation for them. What will they do? Can you hear my question, Asatab? Okay, we seem to have lost that line. If I uh, take the same question to you, Major General Dhruv Katoch, isn't it a very peculiar situation for the ruling dispensation at this point? If they dissolve the assemblies, if Shehbaz Sharif dissolves the assemblies and goes for fresh elections, it's clear who's going to win. They've got a sample right now. But if he clings onto the power and with this rising unemployment and rising debts, of course he'll lose whatever small little support or credibility they have right now.
You see, when you look at the Pakistani economy as of now, they're in a bad shape, and whether it is the PML or the PPP or the PTI, it doesn't matter which party is in power. They are going to have a very difficult time in resolving the economic issues. But if I was a part of the ruling dispensation in Pakistan now, I would actually go in for fresh elections, because you are very right. If you do something illegal now and go against the will of the people, your defeat later is going to be much bigger. It is quite possible that the PML will lose the election now, the Muslim League along with the PPP. It is quite in order that they may lose the election now, but at least they will have credibility. If they delay the elections, if they try to by hook or by crook to stay on power for another 6 months or 8 months or 10 months, they will lose credibility. And that is even worse. And then the margin of defeat, I'm afraid, will be far worse than what it will be now. Now, if they go gracefully, and I think Maria Nawaz has given a very graceful statement,
Yeah, yeah.
that has really appealed to the public that, okay, we have lost and we accept the will of the people. Now, that is the way to go about it in a democracy. I think she has done it very well, and I think they should now go the full way. That, okay, we have lost the elections as far as Punjab is concerned. A new government is formed. That is all right, and now let us go in for early elections as early as possible. And whichever way it goes, I think there will be credibility within the system that we have a polity now which is open to accepting victory and which is also open to accepting defeat.
Okay, we got our Pakistani guest back. I was just asking the question which I asked Major General Dhruv Katoch also, that isn't it a very peculiar situation for the ruling dispensation? If Shehbaz Sharif dissolves the assemblies and goes for fresh election, it's clear what's going to happen. There is a wave in favor of Imran Khan. But if he clings on to power, then again there will be rising prices, there will be inflation, the dollar will go up, and then those problems will come and he'll lose the credibility. What are they going to do? Okay, we are again problems with that line. But last question to you, Major General Dhruv Kutoj. Any implications for India? This is a small by-election, but it reflects the mood on the ground that the wave is in favor of Imran Khan, and if there are general elections, he might again come into power and become the Prime Minister of Pakistan. Does it mean anything for India, or it just means nothing?
Zafar, this
Whosoever
question has
rules.
been asked. Even last time when power was handed over from one party to the other within Pakistan, we thought that there was a change. But no, things will not change. As far as India is concerned, I think this is something for the Pakistani people to resolve. And as far as the India-Pakistan equation is concerned, I personally do not visualize any change in that situation. Right. So, as far as we are concerned, the challenges which we face from Pakistan will continue, regardless of the fact which political party is in power, and we should be prepared. So, if anybody is thinking that because of a particular political dispensation we can have better relationship between India and Pakistan, I don't think that is going to be the case in the present situation, and I don't see it in the immediate future. Say from now till the next 5 to 10 years, I don't see any radical change coming about in the India-Pakistan equation, regardless of whichever party comes in power. But I will also like to say this for the people of Pakistan, I think it will be good if democracy settles in and we have two or three parties which can change power hands peacefully over a period of time. That gives the people choice. And subsequently, I think once that takes root within Pakistan, perhaps a better relationship can develop between the two countries. Zafar.
Thanks so much. That brings us to the end of our discussion. Thanks to Asad Abbas for joining us from Pakistan, and to you, Major General Dhruv Kutoj. That's all we have in today's show. Thanks so much for joining us.
It's great to see you here. Thank you for watching our work. If you haven't subscribed yet, don't forget to click the bell icon and subscribe to Mojo Story and support independent, robust journalism.